Subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button, click the bell button and get all the new videos.
Hello and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Raheen's page. This is Raheen Fatima और आज है हमारे साथ डॉक्टर मोइज हुसैन. अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, कैसे हैं आप?
वालेकुम सलाम. बहुत अच्छा, बहुत शुक्रिया बेटा.
आपको पता है ऑडियंस, दिस इज वन थिंग दैट मैं आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहूंगी. मेरे बाबा वाज अ वेरी प्राउड स्टूडेंट ऑफ सर मोइज हुसैन और ये था कि जितनी भी लर्निंग थी, जितनी भी 4D और बहुत सारी जो योगा, बहुत कुछ जो बाबा ने सीखा, वो सारा जो है इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, जब बाबा ही वुड बी इन दैट स्टेट, वो जिन आइडियाज के बारे में सोचते थे, तो वो सारी चीजें जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन थी वो उन्होंने मेरे पे की थी एज अ बेबी. एंड हियर आई एम. So, please, sir, can you please introduce yourself for our audience?
Simple. I'm a learner. I've been trying to learn since for the last 45 years. I'm a seeker of truth. I'm on a journey of discovering myself. Who am I? I've seen many ups and downs. I've seen lot of experiences in my life. I've learned a lot of things and I've continued to learning. I was the person who introduced yoga in Pakistan in 1974. At that time, it was not a professional training. It was just out of fun. I was 16 and a half when I was initiated into Raj Yoga in India. Then in 1980s, I started teaching yoga professionally. 86, I established my own institute. Uske baad, I believe that people need much more than yoga because yoga is definitely very beneficial. However, people have issues like anxiety. People need to achieve their objectives. They have problems with self-confidence. They need to learn to manage day-to-day affairs. So then I traveled extensively around the world. I learned NLP, hypnosis, Reiki, EFT, RV, Silva, and then eventually I became a trainer of all these skills. And then since then, 1986, when I established my first institute, never looked back. It has been a long journey, very fruitful, full of learning, full of experiences. I wish I had started earlier, maybe when I was 8 years old or 10 years old. But of course, that's too young an age for people to believe me. So I have two sons. They're both in San Francisco, California. I have a daughter. She is not my real daughter. I've adopted her, but I love her very much. Her name is Uruj. She's married to Ashfan. They used to live in Africa. Uruj comes on and off, stays with me. She's very much, I think, the most important part of the Institute of Mind Sciences. Uruj is the most important element of the part of that. She's also a trainer of all these things that I've talked about. She trains people with me when we do workshops. I take 50% of the workshop, then Uruj takes 50% of the workshops, and she does online therapies also. She's extremely good. My kids have their own business. They are well settled in US. So life is, mashallah, very smooth, yet full of challenges because every time we have a new type of a crowd. And in that type of a crowd, you have a variety of people with good common sense, people with higher IQ, and sometimes people with low common sense and lower IQ also. So you learn to deal with all type of people. People from all walks of life have been trained by me. I think about 150,000 people worldwide I have trained in various these disciplines.
That's totally amazing. So, sir, अब मेरे जैसे बहुत सारे young लोग हैं in the audience. So, for them, अगर you were to explain mind sciences in a very short words, how would you explain it?
See, just as you have, there is the study of space is called space sciences. Then the study of plants is called botany, which is biosciences. Similarly, study of animals is zoology or animal sciences. So this is the study of human mind. This is not neurology. Neurology is to do with the human brain, which is a tangible thing. You can see it, you can taste it, you can touch it also. Mind is something that you can't see. And yet it is this mind that completely rules your brain and your whole body. So in order to understand mind sciences, it has to be started from first learning to understand your own self first. That's the first key. Until you understand your own self, you cannot understand mind sciences. So over a
Yeah.
period of time, it has divided into various disciplines which are under mind sciences. Yoga being the mother of all, but not Hatha yoga. The exercise that you see is a very little form of yoga. The actual yoga is called Raj Yoga, which is again yoga of the mind. How do you control your mind from fluctuating? How do you focus your thought on one particular object? So in the West, people started developing other skills or other tools for how to enhance the functioning and capability of a human mind. Like an average person uses 2 to 3%. And Einstein was one person known to be using about 10% of his mind power. So if we can learn to use more of our mind and use it in a special way, we can achieve remarkable results in our life. Results in terms of education, result in terms of health, relationship, job, business, human relationship. Talk of any area, you can achieve remarkable results.
Yes, and really, because मुझे भी ये था कि my brain is something really different than the mind. Mind is you cannot touch it, but it's there because it's controlling everything.
It's an
So
intangible reality. Sorry.
it is. और ये भी because today I really wanted to talk about because आपने एक show भी किया था that's Genius Minds और वो that was for kids and I really wanted to talk about this in the session is कि आप क्या लगता है कि genius क्या है वो भी if we talk about in a perspective of kids.
See, the word genius basically means genie in us. Genie in us. That's the word genius. Every child who is born normal has a genius sleeping, dormant, latent. Now, the initial upbringing up to the age of 4 and then up to the age of 7, because after 4, normally kids are sent to schools. Till the age of 7, whatever the upbringing as far as home is concerned, schooling is concerned, parents are concerned, peers are concerned, that either makes the genius sleep or it awakens the genius. In most of the cases, the genius is never awakened, especially your education. Especially after class 2, all your education is to help you to think logically. And geniuses are able to use both halves of the brain. See, you have a left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain. The left hemisphere of the brain is associated with logical thinking, mathematics, calculation, planning, analytical thinking. The right side of the brain is associated with daydreaming, poetry, music, creative ideas, painting. So they found out there was a person born in Laredo, Texas, who became an orphan at a very young age, and he wanted his brothers and sisters to get better education. He was the youngest, so he started doing odd jobs like selling newspaper and washing cars at the gas station. That guy was a genius himself. He never went to school. He never actually took any formal education, and yet he was given honorary doctorate, PhD degree by 4 universities in South America. Because he created a program, it's called the Silva method. Initially, he created it for kids because he wanted, when he got married, he wanted his children to become genius. So he started experimenting on them using hypnosis. And during those sessions, he realized that at a certain level, when the child is in a state, we call it state, you can call it hypnotic state, he was able or she was able to read what the father was about to say. And Jose Silva got really amazed. How did you know what I was about to say? And this was the main discovery which led to the development of this program, which was researched for 20 years by leading psychologists in Texas, in the Texan region. And what they did was they converted an average student, every child, into a genius. And then they started working on adults, bado pe. And they were amazed in few days, the adults were functioning at the level of genius. So everyone has the genius within us. It is not awakened, it is sleeping, it is dormant. And our education, unfortunately, does not allow the genius to awaken. And that's what happens. Like I've trained MBAs, I've given lectures in top universities in Pakistan, and I'm amazed that an MBA cannot stand up and talk. I mean, he doesn't know what is communication. He doesn't have communication skills. And I was once giving a lecture at the Institute of Cost and Management Accountant, and there was this guy who came up to me, a young man, who was a gold medalist. And he said, I'm not getting a job because I'm highly educated, no doubt. But whenever I go for an interview, I fail. Why? Because I cannot communicate myself. I don't have the confidence. So what has this education given you? Nothing. Nonsense. You've just learned to memorize certain things, certain concepts, without realizing what they actually mean. So what I did was, when my kids were young, at the time they were about to go to sleep, I would sit next to their bed. I would share stories. And this is one of the most amazing methods of how you can insert a certain command or a certain suggestion into a child's mind through a story. And I did it for such a long time. And it so happened that both when Ali and Murtaza was growing up, they were amazing. They were excellent orators. They went into debates. They won prizes. When they went for the higher studies in the States, they did amazing. And not only that, they opened up a company, and the company flourished, and they are so successful, alhamdulillah, mashallah. All because they know how to use their mind. And we have not taught. I mean, you know very well, your friends would know, which school, college, university teaches you how to use your mind? None. So this is what mind science is all about. If kids can learn, I would encourage parents to put your young kids into Silva, 4-dimension, these workshops, and see what happens. In a year or so, you will see remarkable changes. The grades will improve. You don't have to sit for hours to study. Nonsense. You cannot have a concentration after 25 to 30 minutes. Your span of concentration comes down after 25, sometimes 35 minutes. And then if you have a book in front of you, you are studying for 2 hours, useless, you're wasting your time. Your brain will never absorb, will never be able to remember, will never be able to recollect if you are continuously studying over 35 minutes. Nobody told us that. You know, Ali and Murtaza, when they were young, I would make them take a break after every 30 minutes. And they would just get up from the seats or go to the fridge, drink some water, 5 minutes, just relax, talk with their mom, talk with me, gupshup, and then they would study again. After every 30 minutes, take a 5 minutes break. This is how you're able to study. This is smart study. But no school has ever taught you that. Nobody knows that. I teach bureaucrats at NIPA. Now it's called NIM now, National Institute of Management, grade 18, grade 19. And I'm amazed they don't even know this. You're running the country, you don't even know how to communicate. Right? So this has to start from the very beginning. If you want a generation to come up to be able to help this country grow into a great, fine, powerful nation, you have to start with kids. You have to start with children. And then, of course, adults can do it also. Women can do it. People from all walks of life.
Yes, and up though it explains ki mere abba, why does he give me a break after every 30 minutes? You know, he gives me 5 minutes just to relax myself, just to relax the brain, just chill out for 5 minutes and then get back to it. So this explains a lot of things. But what do you think is the difference between learning and good grades? Because हमारे यहाँ समझते हैं जिसके अच्छे grades हैं, समझ बेशक कुछ भी ना आए लेकिन grades अच्छे होने चाहिए, and he's like, you know, the god of the class or something.
This is very unfortunate. In order to get good grades, you need to be able to have a good memory. That's it. You have to memorize, and when the time comes, put it on piece of paper. But how much have you really understood? That is the problem. That is why you see people in positions from all walks of life, in all professions, they are living in a matrix. I don't know whether you've seen the movie Matrix. People thought it was science fiction. It is science fiction, but it is based on a real concept that we all live in a matrix. You see, a doctor will always think like a doctor. An engineer will always think like an engineer. A person in military will always think like a person in military. This is what a matrix is. So our education basically, instead of freeing us from ignorance, it actually binds us. So we have this called linear thinking. We just think through the tunnel. We cannot think left and right. So though you have education, but you've actually not learned anything. Nothing. The purpose of education was to help you grow, to help you to understand, to contemplate, to reflect, to ask questions, to investigate. No education does that. Only in PhD, definitely. But other than that, no education. So what you're doing is turning human beings into machines, which either are like doctors, engineers, software engineers, other professions, but they always will think within the parameters and the framework of the education that they've acquired. They cannot go out of it. So education purpose is not being utilized. It has not been realized. It has not been done. The actual purpose is to grow, to learn. I remember recently I heard schools in Japan, the kids go at the age of 5, they're not allowed before that age. And what they do for the next 2 years, when the kids go to school, there are no formal studies. They are just interested in what the kid wants to do automatically. For example, somebody's painting, somebody's trying to play the piano, somebody's doing this. So they observe those kids. The natural intelligence in a kid, the natural talent. In our society, our natural talent is suppressed. So you become something what the society wants you to become, or what your parents want you to become, rather than what you actually want to be. So it so happens that if you have a flair for singing, you have an ear for music, my God, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to take up a profession by which you can earn money and live your life. This is what happens.
Yes, this is so true because हमारे यहाँ हर किसी की रेस ही होती है. That's the grades, and you need to get good grades. So what do you want to what do you want to say about the education system? Because हमारे यहाँ बहुत सारे लोग कहते तो हैं the education system is not good, but how do you think they could incorporate the mind sciences at a young age?
See, many years back, Dr. Abdul Wahab, a very well-known person, he was running Muhammad Ali Jinnah University in Karachi. So he called to start teaching mind sciences in the university, Muhammad Ali Jinnah University. So I did 2 semesters, but I was so busy. I'm usually traveling all the time. Now, of course, these days I'm doing webinar trainings, but I travel a lot. So I did two semesters, and the students who joined my class, it was an optional subject. But I had such a huge class, I think 110 people. So there was no room big enough for my class. So my classes were held in the auditorium. And you would be amazed that most of the students who joined mind sciences or who took mind sciences as an optional subject were mediocres. Their GPA was very less. But after the 2 semesters, the entire university was shocked. Their GPA just went up because they understood what they were doing. And once they learned to use their mind, they were using it in computer sciences or in whatever particular major subject they had taken majors, they were able to use it. They were able to understand it. And that is how they were able to get good grades. Why? Because it was not simply trying to memorize. It was simply trying to understand how your mind works. And once you understand how your mind works, then everything that you see all around you in this entire universe is also in your mind. See, remember one thing. The movies that you see today, the science fiction movies that you see today, one day that will be a reality. So what a human mind can conceive and believe will happen one day, 100%. Maybe tomorrow, maybe 50 years, 100 years from now. So whatever we are doing today, we are on television, we can use smartphones, we have Wi-Fi. Many years back, many years back, there was a show on television, Star Trek. And people didn't like the show because most of the things they showed was unbelievable. I mean, Twitter, laptop, mobile phone. People thought this is crazy. And now all this is reality, right? So we need to tell people, especially young people like you, learn these things, learn these skills. This is the best investment you can make. You spend, I mean, doing an MBA would mean 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, depends which university you go to. End of the day, you have a degree, but you do not have the ability to do something remarkable. And one of the misconceptions in our society is that these courses are an expense. It's not an expense, it's an investment. And if you can invest on yourself, on your own ability, because your mind is like a tool, it's like a weapon. When you have to live your life, you have to learn to use your mind so that you can be successful in everything that you do. So I think from your this program of yours, the young people will get a message that they need to learn these skills, because otherwise it is not taught anywhere in the world, in any universities or colleges or schools. This is not taught.
Yes. And when you were speaking, I just got this idea in my mind that because of my father, I was practicing yoga. The very first things that I was introduced was कि Reiki बहुत सुनी मैंने, योगा की टैपिंग भी कुछ टाइम तक की जो कि भूल चुकी है अब. लेकिन at a certain point I realized that none of my friends are doing this. बहुत सारे लोगों को तो पता भी नहीं है क्या है, लेकिन अगर किसी को पता है किसी बच्चे को, तो उनको ये लगता है कि दिस इज एन ओल्ड मैन थिंग. जब तुम बूढ़ी होगी ना तो तुम तब करना, तब तुम करती हुई अच्छी लगोगी. And many people were like, yeah, this is for old people, yaar, live your life, this is for oldies. And I believe them because मेरे साथ सिर्फ मेरे अब्बा कर रहे होते थे, ना मेरे अब्बा के एज का कोई कर रहा होता था और नहीं मेरे एज का कोई कर रहा होता था. तो I thought कि नहीं भाई, this is something terribly wrong, I'm not doing this again. And that day that I set up my mind, I did not do it again. I was like, नहीं भाई, ये इंतहाई गलत चीज है. Then at a point I realized कि because I was standing out, क्योंकि मैं बहुत तरीकों से stand out करती थी, तो I did not want to add up to that standing out of mine. और मैंने छोड़ दिया. और if I would have continued, I would have done a lot of things with my mind, and now I'm coming back on track with my yoga thanks to this quarantine. So I have time now. But what do you want to say to all these kids who think that yoga is supposed to be for oldies? ये बड़े होंगे, बूढ़े होंगे, फिर आराम से करेंगे when we are retired.
Basically, the purpose of yoga eventually is to focus on one object. It is to develop concentration. And everything that you do in life, you need concentration. The higher the concentration, the better the result. So I would suggest something. We, in the last about 1 month, after this lockdown and all, we started a meditation called Heaven of Healing. I don't know whether you know about it or not. We were doing it, 4 times a week. Then we had to stop it because I'm doing Kundalini now. But we're getting so many requests from people. So we are starting from this Friday, coming Friday, 10 p.m. on my Facebook page. So ask your friends to join. We will be doing it till Eid, and after Eid, it'll be once a week, every Thursday. But right now it's Friday, Sunday, and Wednesday. So make them join. Once they get the taste of it, then they will start to like it. After if you go to a restaurant and or somewhere they give you an appetizer, taste it, sample it, and you like the taste, and then you want to eat it. So make them join this for a few days, and they will begin to like it, because it will not only help them to relax, to have better concentration. Right now, everyone is in a state where there is uncertainty. Corona will one day leave. We will have a healthy society, but not society with healthy minds. People will start having panic attacks. People have depression. People have already developed fear, thinking of suicide. So Corona will go away. But what happens to your mind then? Because if you have to move in the society, continue with your normal day-to-day life, go for your job, your business, your schooling, whatever it is, how will you function? All the time you will have this fear, you will be in a state of panic, anxious state, Corona. So it is important that people meditate at these days so that the fear does not control their mind.
Yes, and because now our interview is coming to an end, तो आखिर में मैं आपसे दो चीजें पूछना चाहूंगी. ये फर्स्ट कि अगर किसी ने आपसे कोई पर्सनल ट्रेनिंग देनी है तो क्या आप उससे ऑफर करते हैं? तो आप where are you most reachable if anybody wants to contact you for training?
Okay, best is if they are on हमारा WhatsApp broadcast list है, and every week we send out a broadcast of various workshops all over Pakistan, and of course in UK, USA, Africa, Dubai. So we send them a broadcast message. If they are interested, they can join. If they are interested, they can even take this as a profession. We have already trained about 40 people as silver trainers in Pakistan, in London, in US, and we have trained around 35 people as NLP trainers. They're starting their own workshops and classes. This is a great profession. So depends upon how much you want to take it. If you just want to learn for yourself, for your skills, upgrading your skills, improvising your skills, improving your confidence, then just take 1 or 2 courses and you'll be perfectly all right. But if you want to take this as a career, as a profession, then you need to go through the whole stages and eventually become a trainer.
Yes, thank you so much. And at the end, what message would you like to give to the youth of Pakistan and to all the people who are watching this about being a genius?
I think the first is, I apologize to the youngsters of this country. We were never able to deliver what we should have delivered. So we take responsibility of not being able to provide the right kind of educational platform and the right kind of upbringing within the society that would have helped them to become more effective youth. So we take responsibility for that. Now, having said that, make sure you don't make the same mistake again. The mistakes that we have made, don't make those mistakes. Jose Silva, in his workshop, he has a beautiful suggestion which we sort of insert in the mind all the time when somebody is taking this workshop. And it says, you will strive to take part in constructive and creative activities to make this a better world, so that when we move on, we shall have left behind a better world for those who follow. So life is not about living ourselves only. It is to ensure that we create conditions so that our children can have a better world than what we had. That's my message. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, sir. You told us so many things about children being geniuses. And thank you so much, inshallah, to the audience. We will come again with another personality. So thank you so much, and Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.